welcome to another week of Bar Brunch. I am so excited today because we're going to be talking to the show Must Go Online. Yes, the people that you've seen do all of these crazy, amazing Shakespeare online shows throughout this entire pandemic. They are going to be on the show talking to me, which is going to be great. We also have our first return guest from not the same company. Yeah, Victoria Reese Sook from the 12th Night Welcome to Our Table. I just kept wanting to say welcome to our table, but it was 12th night, and it was amazing, and I know you all saw it because I told you go to see it. I saw it. It was wonderful. But anyway, the show Must Go Online is going to be here with us. Oh my God, so many comments already. I love this. But anyway, before we get into that, I'm going to be making an old-fashioned people pie. Now, of course, the holidays are coming up, so the best way sometimes to deal with family is to cook them. Right now, we're going to be using imitation people right now, ground beef, because of social distancing protocols. But anyway, just so you're aware, here's how to make an old-fashioned people pie. All right, first, I have my little muffin tin here. We could take that comment down so people can see a little bit more what's happening. That would be great. Okay, there we go. Yay, thank you. All right, so yeah, I'm buttering the muffin tin right now with my fingers because I'm gonna wash my hands anyway. But I'm buttering it right now because I even do this with my cupcakes because I don't like using muffin tins because I feel like that's just a waste of food to get it all on the muffin tin, and then you can't eat the muffin tin or the little cupcake paper thingy. So I hate that. So I just butter them instead before I even put anything in there. I'm gonna do a little wipe and then a wash and then a wipe. Just wunderbar. Okay. Just to get the butter off my hands and not like throwing everything all over the place. But yeah, it's just, I'm using the two center ones right now because I'm just making two. You can do as many as you'd like. So the next thing I'm going to do, just put this off to the side a little bit. I just have a plate right here. And I'm going to take some dough, some biscuit dough. I'm using Pillsbury biscuit dough. You can make your own dough if you feel so inclined. Since I'm making two, I'm going to be taking out 4 little pre-thingied biscuits. Pre-thingied biscuits? Who knows? All right. Because I want a top and a bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mash them. I'm going to mash them. I'm going to pull. I'm going to stretch Armstrong. Did anyone have those Stretch Armstrong dolls when they were younger? That would just like, you could stretch the arms and then do nothing else with the doll. I love them. Because if you stretched them long enough, then they would reach like each end of your room. You'd be like, this is so cool. And then you could do nothing else with it. But that was great. Didn't even come with like different like clothes or anything. He just Stretch Armstrong stretched his arms and was strong. All right. So I got this one. I'm going to put it in the bottom. I'm going to smash this one up. And then I'm going to pull it up hot. Yeah, I've been so excited to make this one since I started planning these, because I plan my recipes about a month or so. Well, I plan them about 3 months in advance, if I'm being really honest with myself. But I rarely ever get to test them out ahead of time because I do way too many things. I'm the kind of person who overloads my schedule to make time move faster. But for this, I actually had to, since they cook in the oven for a bit, I had to actually pre-cook them last night, and I was so sad because I really wanted to eat them afterwards, but I couldn't. All right. So now for the tops. We're not putting the tops on just yet, but just so they're here. We mash them down flat. This is a mashed and this is a not mashed, just so it doesn't have to be like perfect. It doesn't have to be rolled out dough. Then you take a knife and you cut a little face into it. It doesn't have to be a good face. It can be fully reminiscent of a face from Nick Jr. Does anybody remember Face from Nick Jr.? That was literally just an entire face that took up your screen. That guy. I miss him. But yeah, just Eyes and a mouth. My mouths are going to be screaming a little bit because, you know, it's a people pie and you don't want to get eaten. Some people actually might want to get eaten. Have you ever seen those like laws? It's like it's legal to eat people if they consent, and then people actually do because that's what they want in life. And you know what? If that's what you want in life and you get someone to do that for you, you go right ahead and live your life, especially right now. Sometimes the best way to go is to just make a contractual agreement to have someone cook you in a pie. Although, as we all know from Titus Andronicus, that is not what happened in this based food. All right. So this is how one of my faces is looking right now. Sad. He doesn't want to be a pie. Just gonna get the other one like that as well. Give him some personality. Some personality to my food that I'm gonna be eating. But you know, I could go into a whole spiel about all food has personality. It depends on how you cook it and how much you love to cook it. And I'm also just kind of, I'm like in that boat because I love cooking food and I love making food. I love making food for people. Just the other day, actually, I went to my best friend's house and I was like, and I'm making dinner tonight because I want to, because he's all by himself in his apartment right now and really feeling the quarantine sadness. And he doesn't go anywhere. So he's in my quarantine pod because we're the only people that we see. Let's cut you open. Cut my mouth into pieces. This is my Pillsbury Joe. Okay. There we go. My two sad, screaming faces. They kind of look like the reverse of those happy face fries. Yo, fam, don't forget to like and subscribe. Yes, full TikTok, full YouTube subscriber mode. But yeah. Okay. I always feel so weird telling people to like and subscribe, even though, like, sure, go ahead and do that. But like, I feel so like weird doing that, even though that's a totally legitimate thing to ask of people. All right, I have some pre-cooked meat, some just ground beef, imitation people, as I call it. Yeah, I seasoned it with thyme and rosemary because revenge is sweet, but you feel a little bitter when you do it sometimes. I'm not gonna overload it because we're also putting other things in there. I am gonna pack it down though, mostly just to weigh down the dough, make sure the dough is going into all edges of the muffin tin. And as I can tell, this one is not. So hey, get some meat in your face. All right. And then the next thing I'm gonna wash my hands because I feel sticky meat, even though it was pre-cooked meat, but I feel sticky. I'm just gonna rinse you off. I'm gonna do a full wash later. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna throw some shredded cheese in there just because I wanted to. Aw, Faye, good morning. Good morning. I spent my morning screen managing a Spanish language version of an English show that I normally screen manage. I don't speak Spanish. I can read it relatively well, so I had the script right next to the Zoom screen. Like this is where we are, right? Okay. But it worked. It worked out very well, which was wonderful. Next thing we're gonna do, because I like to be a little spicy when I cook up my people. I'm gonna crack an egg into a bowl. Crack an egg into the bowl. And we're also gonna put some hot sauce in there. Because I like hot sauce. Bloop. A bloop of hot sauce as the proper measurement of how much hot sauce you need. All right. Stir it, stir it, stir it, stir it. And then I take the eggs off of the thing holding all of my utensils. And then I find a spoon. Okay, here we go. Then I'm just gonna pour into each one. I usually can put one egg into two things. So if you're making more than two things, feel free to do one egg per two. Or if you want to have a super eggy one, feel free to put it all in one, or just use half the egg. Or do whatever you want. Honestly, your math, your rules. I'm very much a measure with your heart kind of person. So if you feel differently about what you want to make, you go ahead and you make it the way you want to. I'm actually going to leave this here because the next step is to put our faces on. All right, so the faces go on the muffin tin. Faces on the muffin tin, the muffin tin, the muffin tin. I'm going to fork them together like you see it. I love the thing. There we go. Here we go. What I should have done was space them out more in my tin. So that way they wouldn't, I mean, they're friends. They're friends. They're brothers. So that's fine. The brothers can stay together in death. That's fine. But anyway, here's what they look like right now. Yes, your mouth, your rules, 100%. You don't have to follow a recipe 100%. If you don't like a certain spice, you don't like a certain thing. I don't like onions, so I don't put onions in anything. But yeah, so what we would do on a normal time is 325 to 350, depending on just yeah, depending on your oven and how hot it is. Mine is super duper hot, so I would do 325 for about like 20 to 30 minutes. But again, since we can't do that because I have people to talk to. Here they are. They're so silly. I love them. They're screaming. They're screaming. Don't eat me. But I'm gonna. All right. So, while I set up these beautiful little babies over at my little eating station, please look at this little preview of the show Must Go Online if you haven't seen their work already, even though I'm sure so many of you have. And then we're gonna get into a little interview. But yeah, enjoy.
In a nutshell, the topics that Hamlet engages, because it's such an intellectually rich play, are too many to name, but here are a few. Fratricide, regicide, domesticity, surveillance, religion, gender, grief, mental health, suicide, incest, misogyny, death, and even white-on-white violence. Yes, I said white-on-white violence. You heard right. Because in addition to engaging the previously mentioned topics, Hamlet is a play about race, masculine whiteness, and white identity formation.
Hamlet? Lord Hamlet!
Oh, here they come.
What have you done, my lord, with the dead body?
There's a letter for you, sir. It came from the ambassador that was bound for England. If your name be Horatio, as I am let to know it is.
Thou, thy wits, and did persuade revenge it could not move thus.
There's Rosemary. That's for remembrance. Pray you, love, remember. And there's Pansies. That's for thoughts.
The documented madness, thoughts and remembrance fitted.
There's fennels for you, and columbines. There's rue for you. Oh, and here's some for me. We may call it Herb of Grace or Sundays. You may wear your rue with a difference. There's a daisy. I would give you some violets, but they withered all when my father died.
Horatio, I am dead. Now let's report me and my cause of right to the unsatisfied.
Never believe it. I am more an antique Roman than a Dane. Here's some liquor left.
As thou art a man, give me the cup. By heaven, let go. I'll have it. Oh God. God. Horatio. What a wounded name. But things standing thus unknown shall I leave behind me. thou didst ever hold me in thy heart, absent thee from felicity a while, and in this harsh world draw thy breath in pain to tell my story. What warlike noise is this?
Young Fortinbras, with conquest come from Poland. To the ambassadors of England gives this warlike volley.
Oh, I die, Horatio. The potent poison quite overgrown my spirits. I cannot live to hear the news from England, but I do prophesy the election lights on Fortinbras. He has my dying voice, so tell him with the events, more or less, which have solicited. The rest is silence.
Thou cracks a noble heart. Good night, sweet prince, and flights of angels sing thee to thy rest.
Ah! Okay, I'm moving you closer. One thing that I was freaking out a little bit about was that on my phone that I'm joining in on, that was super choppy, and I couldn't see any of it. I was having an absolute heart attack. So, if that was choppy or not for you, please let me know. I'm gonna have to rewatch this show later so I can actually see all of that. But anyway, without further ado, please welcome the show Must Go Online. Yay! Yay, Peter! Yeah, you're here. I'm watching. Woo! All right. We bringing people on?
Hi!
Oh.
Hey! That was so unexpected. Hiya.
How's everyone this morning?
Huh?
Oh. How's everyone doing? We're good? We're good?
Oh, right.
Yeah, good.
It's we are in Scotland currently, so morning lasts about 20 minutes, afternoon about the same. So you might notice that it's dark behind me right now.
That's right, yes. So for this interview, everyone watching at home, we have people joining us from all over the globe right now. Some people are joining us at 6 p.m. their time. Some people are joining us at 1 p.m. Yeah, this is a wonderful little international show that we're having right now. If everyone go around in a clockwise manner, I am, there we go. This whole screen is mirrored, so I have no idea what's going on. I've been doing the show since August. I still can't figure out the concept of the mirror thing. But if everyone could go around clockwise and just let the audience know who you are and how you're affiliated with the show Must Go Online, that would be fantastic. Yay.
So does that mean I start with clockwise?
Go right ahead.
All right. Hi, I'm Victoria Ray Sook. I was in 3 of the shows and helped with movement with 2 of them, and I watched all of the other ones, and it was just an absolute joy to get to take part. I am in New York City, and so I'm actually doing this at 1 p.m.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Chi-Chi Aniwa. I am an actor, mover, singer, and I'm currently located in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So representing Canada. I was also in 3 of the productions, and I've been working my way through everything else, and the talents, the work. Just
Wonderful. Hi, I'm Rob Miles. I'm an actor, writer, director based in Glasgow. I'm the co-creator of The Show Must Go Online, having directed the 36 plays of the first folio in chronological order over a period of 8 months, as well as Shakespeare Star Wars from the wonderful Ian Desher, who I noticed is in the audience. Big ups to Ian. Ian, also the author of our wonderful Christmas show, which is A Christmas Carol, done Shakespeare style by Ian Desher, which is coming on the 19th? 19th
yes.
of December, yes.
And hi, I'm Sarah Peachy. I'm the other co-creator and producer of The Show Must Go Online. Yes, thank you. I also had the joy of getting to have a little hand at directing for Ian Desher's Get Thee Back to the Future, which was so much fun. Oh, dream world colliding in many ways there. Yes, absolutely excited to be here.
I'm Gabriel Akamo. I'm an actor. I was in how many shows was I in? I was in 4, swung for 1, so that's 5 altogether. That's great. It's good to be on the stream.
Yay! I'm Nat Kennedy. I think I was in 3, and it was a great pleasure to be involved. And I am currently in England, where it's very dark.
Yeah.
What's on your shirt there, Nat?
Oh, this whole thing.
Yeah.
Just representing a bit of Frida Kahlo. Blue is my partner. She's been obsessed with like buying me loads of new shirts throughout the summer. So I've got a nice collection building up. So it was either this or Father Christmas. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go with a bit of Frida Kahlo. So honestly, thank you so much, Bluey. I love you.
Please tell me how this entire project started, how it came to be.
So I very casually sent out a tweet and it got really out of hand. And then the snowball became an avalanche and we just kind of rode it bobsleigh style, just trying to stay ahead of that wave for 8 straight months. And it became this incredible global community, global movement to create Shakespeare for free for everyone forever. And that's something that we've kind of tried to do to the extent that we can, as much as we can, and we're going to continue to try and do into the future as well. It was an experience of going viral, which is I'm not an influencer, so that was an unfamiliar sensation to me. I was like, why is my phone shouting at me? Oh, it's good news, great. It was wonderful. And then it was just a matter of getting some experts, roping some experts in to help us set up for success, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think when we started out, it was meant to be a simple weekly Shakespeare reading. And then we discovered all of these things we could do on Zoom and thought, ooh, this is quite interesting. And then through all of the fantastic energy and input and creativity and talent of the people that have been involved over the weeks, we didn't know if we'd make it through to the end, but, incredible teamwork. And made it through to the 36 show.
So many unintended consequences with this. Like, we never expected international people getting involved. We never anticipated the number of people getting involved. We've had 500 actors and creators involved in the first folio series as a whole. So really extraordinary stuff. Very, very humbling to be a part of, definitely.
And how did all of you get involved with this company?
Ooh. Well, for me, I saw a fellow Canadian actor, Emilio Vieira. He was in the phenomenal production of Hamlet, and I was so blown away by that production. I was like, I have to find a way to be a part of that. And so I applied, and then I got cast in 12th Night, and I was just flabbergasted at the just everyone's so talented. So that's how I got in.
Awesome. I had a friend who We've only actually ever met once, and I think maybe twice now in person, but we're like Twitter Shakespeare friends. Tweet at me and being like, "This thing is starting right now. What are you doing?" And I was like, "Well, it's quarantine, so nothing." She was like, "Two Gentlemen of Verona is starting right now. It's this, global Shakespeare cast. You have to get on." And so I started watching it immediately, and then it was like, if you want to get involved in the next one, I was like, well, obviously I do. And so then I started with watching the very first one, and then I started applying, and the first one I was in was Ian Dusher's Taming of the Clueless, and then I kept playing along, and it was just it's been such a journey. And then I wrapped up with The Tempest, and it's great.
Yeah. So I'd seen The Show Must Go Online about on Twitter, but I wasn't entirely sure what it was. But then a friend of mine, a phenomenal London-based actor called Laurie Ogden, sent me the link to the Romeo and Juliet call out, the Romeo and Juliet email. And she was like, you could do some Shakespeare. Why don't you throw your hat into it? So I did, and I got cast as Prince Aeschylus, which was fun. And that was kind of the beginning of my TSMGO journey.
Yeah, I found out about it through I work with my partner, and we've got a theatre company called the Sira Sisters, and we did a production of A Midsummer Night's Dream. And I found out about TSM doing Midsummer Night's Dream, so I was like, and also one of my colleagues from my MA at RADA, Andrew Mockler, was in it, and he played Oberon, and that was like incredible. So me and Blue were like, okay, let's check these guys out. So we kind of like slid into them DMs, and then Blue got the first batch as Daltier Sheet in Henry IV. Is it Henry IV?
Yeah, part 2, I think. Yeah.
Henry IV Part 2 or Part 5 million. One of the Henrys. And then and then I was like, well, I want to come in as well. So then I kept on applying, and I got in as Bardolph with a big red nose and a cucumber.
Hashtag Battle Cuke all the way.
Cuke Day.
I have to tune into that show to find out what on earth we're talking about, by the way.
Yeah, it makes appearances throughout as well. It's kind of like a character motif.
Okay. That's fantastic. So please tell me and everyone, what were some of the hurdles that you had to jump through to make these shows work online? And also, what were some of the things that worked better than you thought, better than possibly even a stage show?
That's a really good question. It's great that you picked Hamlet, actually, as an example to take excerpts from, because there was a bunch of stuff in that you couldn't have done on a stage. So the Ghost had CGI eyeballs, which was really creepy and scary. And that was something that we were able to do using augmented reality tech, which obviously would only work through a screen-based medium. But we also had a moment that we dubbed Schrodinger's soliloquy, where Hamlet says, "Now might I do it, Pat?" And talks about murdering Claudius. And so what we did was have Hamlet and Claudius doing what they actually do, and then we had the alternative reality where he like murders him and then realizes what a terrible idea that will be to murder him at this particular juncture. So you get to see the two like parallel realities running alongside each other, which again, just something that you wouldn't be able to do in a regular theatre. I think, did you have a...
Oh yeah, the other one was the prop passing has been something that's become a bit of a phenomenon with Zoom Theatre, and right back from our first show. And what was really lovely, and Gabriel was a part of this, the Ophelia scene where she's handing out the different flowers.
Yes.
We had it so that she passed it through the screen, but then the person receiving it had nothing. So it was playing on that idea of, is it imaginary? Is it all in her head? And again, in person, you wouldn't be able to make a prop disappear mid-pass to someone.
Not that a lot of rubber bands going up your wrist.
Yeah.
Give it a very different feel, I think. Yeah, absolutely. What about you, actors? What were the challenges? You can say it honestly now as well, to be done.
There's no risk of getting sacked. Of getting kicked.
I think the hardest thing was covering my laptop in saran wrap, hoping that I didn't ruin it when and this is the thing, and I don't know if I'm a glutton for punishment, but Rob was like, who might want to throw water in their face? And I was like, I'm game. So yeah, I mean, and the thing is that it worked really well, I think. And I think it was this like lovely effect. And on stage, you'd be like, yeah, it's fine. But then trying to be like, okay, let's make sure we cover the laptop in saran wrap, but then still let the camera be seen, and then make sure that I definitely turn my camera off. So when I change out of the wet clothes, I'm not giving anybody a show. And so it's just like the mechanics of things like that. And then to be able to get back to a place where like you center and can drop in and act again. And I got, so really, I mean, the water's a fun anecdote, but the thing that was always the most challenging for me was the technical things of it, of like mute, unmute camera, drop in, act. I think were the things that was the hardest. And also, you know, don't ruin your laptop mid-show.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with the learning how to mute and unmute yourself. During one of the rehearsals for was it Othello? I was playing Bianca, and I was getting a little too much into it, and I was essentially I was really portraying Bianca, and I forgot to mute my mic, and I just thought that was really interesting. I just thought it was funny, but long story short, I'm learning and still learning how to mute and unmute myself, and to make sure that Chi-Chi doesn't bleed through the other characters. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me it was I loved finding different locations around my house to film in and really annoy my housemates. That was like the best kind of thing ever. Like, you know, like the floors in my flat are really quiet, so anything kind of like wakes my downstairs hello Desiree up, and I think she's watching this actually, so shout out. I keep on doing shout outs, I'm so sorry. But and so I was like, I remember like it was in when Bardock was like, over the breach. So, and I kind of like sprinted from like one side of my room to like the other side of my room. And I was like, quietly, let's go. Because I think she was doing a night shift or something. So I was like, ooh.
That's one of those shout outs we did at the end of the series, was to all that like flatmates and partners and other people that had endured our actors tearing up their various homes.
Neighbors at one point. Remember Desdemona's neighbor knocked on the door because she was getting smothered on 3 nights in a row. So that was
She was quite close to calling help, professional help, to intervene between scenes. I think was that Alex managed to run upstairs and go, just letting you know I'm okay, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
It's a sign of a great performance when the neighbours are genuinely alarmed.
That's it. Exactly. Oh man. Yeah, I think for me it was the tech plus I'm in a very small box room, and so my desk is kind of pitched right against the window in front of the wardrobe, as you can see behind me, and then I've got like the foot of my bed immediately on the other side of me. So I've essentially got kind of just under a meter square to play in. So that was fun. And so there's doing that, plus managing the space, plus the tech, and then plus the costume changes, which I don't know why I decided to do this to myself with Hamlet and change into have 4 different shirts I changed into. So every time I came off screen, I was grabbing something else and making sure, like as Victoria said, I wasn't showing anything I didn't want to show.
So our actors, we've all been in multiple The Show Must Go On shows, Show Must Go Online shows, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yes? All right.
Yep.
So what was your favorite one to be in, and what was your favorite one to watch?
I can start because I was only in one. So my favourite one to be in was Midsummer, which was great. Really good fun playing bottom with an augmented reality donkey head on, which meant that I essentially had to puppeteer my own body because you couldn't get any like facial expressions. So like everything had to be like shoulder and arm orientated. It was very weird. So that was really good. Favorite one to watch? There's a big stack. But I think Othello is right up there if we're going like serious plays, and then I think Tempest is just like crazy visual spectacle, like Betsy Bowman's firework, like actual live fire happening in the show. It's insane. Yeah, so those are my picks.
I think my favorite to be it. Oh, go on.
No, I was just gonna say it's a hard question. Keep going.
Okay. So I'll keep it brief then, because I don't need to lose the thought. I think my favorite to be in is somewhere between Hamlet and Timon of Athens, because I mean Hamlet I think was the first. Before then I'd done Romeo and Juliet, and so I was still quite green to TSMGO. And then Hamlet, I think, was my second one. And so there was just so many new things coming at once. And Laertes is such a huge part. And he's got kind of speech after speech after speech. And so the learning curve was insane. But it was such a great kind of cast to play alongside. With the fencing and Tanvi being Ophelia with the herbs and that kind of thing. But then also Timon of Athens was just great because and I was playing alongside Michael, who was the painter. It just felt like one of those kind of old-fashioned double team comedy acts, which was awesome. And then just playing opposite Ben Crystal, who was outdoors. As Timon was just it was insane. But I think my favorite to watch, I think it's somewhere between Othello and Macbeth, because Othello was just I was a swing in that, and so like watching the whole thing, I was screaming at my laptop and doing all sorts and going mad on the keyboard. But Macbeth, I think, really kind of got the visual, just like the horror aspect of it really, really well. And there was I mean, I'm not gonna spoil it in case anyone hasn't seen it. But yeah, there's a bit when someone loses their head, and it was an actual head. We're not talking about dummy heads. We're talking about somehow done the visuals so that one screen had a severed head in it, and it was great. It was awesome.
For me, my favorite show that I was in was definitely Othello. It was such a treat playing off of so many brilliant actors, and in particular, Kareem Hedaya, who played Cassio. That was a fun bit to do. Favorite show that I've watched. It changes on the daily. I think right now, one of my favorites is Romeo and Juliet. That balcony scene, but it just broke my heart in the most beautiful way. I think that you guys nailed that blocking. So ask me again tomorrow. It may change.
Go now.
No, you go.
Okay. My dad works in television, and there was this term he said that I never really understood in this age of DVRs and things called appointment TV. And I get it now after being a Show Must Go Online fan or a groundling. And the Show Must Go Online was appointment TV for me. Like every single Wednesday at 2 p.m., I had to be there. And so it is really hard to pick a favorite. But as I'm thinking through, I think now, right now, like you said, it changes on the day. It would have to be Winter's Tale because you changed my opinion on it. I was never a big Winter's Tale fan. And I loved it. And it was like this really magical show. And I was like, oh, I see the magic in this show now. I see why people like this show. And so that was a really special experience for me to have my opinion changed on a show through this. through this company and through this medium. My favorite one to be in, I know this is such a cop-out, but it's absolutely a three-way tie, because in Hamlet, I was a swing and I got to like sit back and watch not sit back, but I got to be on the outside and watch all these other amazing performances and really see how the process works. The Tempest was the last one, so I got to like be a part of a really special thing, and I felt so honored to be a part of that. And then in the other one, I was Cher. Like, who doesn't want to be Cher? And I felt I was so honored, and it did not sit lightly to me that like that show is Cher, and I really like I worked my Heine off to who says Heine? I just didn't want to live up to like what that meant and to be, so I worked really hard to be Cher, and so they all just have very special places in my heart, but for different reasons.
Cool. Yeah, I think my absolute favorite. I have to agree with you, Jenny. Mine was Hamlet. I absolutely loved Christine's performance. I just honestly, as a clown talking, she gets clowning right down, and it's so good to see those subtle changes physically and through the emotional journey of Hamlet, and she just did it so spectacularly. Honestly, like I'm just like my mind was like absolutely blown, especially when she came back and she had the Mardi Gras makeup on, the Day of the Dead makeup, and I was just like, that was such an incredible choice. And I remember just sitting there watching, and we me and Blue were both saying like, it's such a clever choice that was made with To Be or Not to Be speech and wiping it off, and like that solidified that performance, honestly. Words. And then my favorite to be in, I'm gonna have to say Macbeth. I mean, it was such a pleasure playing Touchstone, and such a challenge. It was absolutely incredible to do. But I think for me, Macbeth, it was on a different level, and it was great to work along like Maz. Because we go way back from many drunken nights, but I mean, like, it was just such a pleasure to be among that cast, and also to get it was great working on the Porter scene with you, Rob, to really find those beats and those comedy moments while my head was stuck in a toilet. I mean, my head's been in better places, so yeah, honestly, yeah, Macbeth.
Fabulous.
Yes.
Oh, fantastic answers. I love this so much. Another question for everyone, of course. This is something I ask every single person who comes on the show. We all have our onstage horror stories. One of my favorites that I love to tell is during an outdoor production of A Midsummer Night's Dream. The whole run, except for the final night, had been rained out. So we were doing it in like a little church on the property. So we finally got to do it outside. We had never rehearsed it outside. And we had been told that there were spiders in the area, but we didn't know how many. So when I was asleep as Titania for a good like 20 to 30 minutes of the show, spiders were crawling all over my face, and I had to find a way to get them off of me without fully distracting from the actual scene at hand. That's one of mine. Please.
That's a very meta casting of Cobweb, isn't it? Wow, that's intense. Mine was I was in the bath as bottom for one of the scenes, and I got some bubbles. I made up some bubble bath just in a cup so that I would have some bubbles to blow off of my hand. I blew them off my hand. They landed on the trackpad. The laptop went haywire and deleted the entire scene from my script in the middle of the scene. So I like, just like, this is the bit that you couldn't see. It was just like, stop it, undo, just trying to find it again.
It was actually a bit of a saving grace having the donkey head on, because
the CGI head.
I was stagehand, and Rob's face was just utter terror going, and I had no idea what was happening, but obviously something really bad was happening, and I couldn't help But thankfully, yes, he was just able to make these faces
Yes.
at me.
Yeah, Sarah was a key grip in that scene. She had our mop
That's
and
the
was
mop
rubbing my
scratch.
back.
Oh my god.
So that was the scariest moment
Yeah.
for me, certainly as a performer in one of these shows. I had a few scary moments as a director, but there's nothing you can do.
Oh my god.
Sarah, did you have any scary moments as Reagan?
I was fortunate actually that I think it was a fairly straightforward experience. I didn't have anything too complicated to do. But it's just what I mean. One of the things we're doing on this format is the internet connection, and right at the start, and I was prepared for this thankfully. But right at the start, first scene on, and my connection lags, and I thought, oh no, brilliant! So I quickly got my phone plugged into my mobile data. And I was like, okay, yeah, no, we're fine. And unfortunately, I didn't speak for a while when I first came on, so I had a bit of time to just look ahead as I was just plugging in my phone. Yeah, okay. So,
While on stage?
Yeah.
So like 5 seconds of time of like, oh, I hate that. The internet has actually gone out on me during some of these interviews, and the people have had to interview themselves for like a good 3 to 5 minutes while I get it back. So I feel it. I feel it.
Amazing.
Yeah, how about the rest of you? I'm trying to think if you had any hairy moments. Oh, Victoria,
I want to quickly shout out Gabriel's like absolute acing of what to do when things go wrong in Henry VIII. It was like flawless, like to the point where it felt like it was part of the script. It was nuts.
Oh boy, I think it's because I'm so afraid. I was so afraid of being in that situation where I was just going. And you know what? And as much as you said that I nailed it, but I think Henry VIII was the one show where that actually happened to me on the stream.
Because someone else did it, right? And you bailed them.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And it was like, that was so smooth. And then you hit I think it was like next entrance. It was like
literally, it was literally the next one. Oh boy.
Times you've done it, that's the thing. It doesn't matter. It's still so easy to just leave that button on.
That's it. That's exactly it. Oh boy, but I mean, what I'm gonna say Hamlet again because in terms of scary moments, because it was just before the fencing scene, right? Hamlet, there's the fake blood. I'd mixed up some fake blood. I'd reversed my t-shirt over my long sleeve, so I had my fencing gear on. And then I had 2 bottles of water, right? One bottle was drinking water, and the other bottle was diluted soap. You can guess where I'm going with this, right? So yeah, so I wanted to reach to have a swig of water so that so that I would, so all the systems are lubricated and that kind of thing before I go in. And I took this massive like gulp of diluted peppermint soap, and honestly, I think I must have taken about 3 swallows before I realized this is feeling a bit hot. What's going on? So I literally spewed it all out, all over my desk, and I had to jump right into the scene with. So thinking, oh my gosh, okay, I've destroyed my stomach lining. Oh no, my intestines. Oh, what's gonna happen? Okay, I might need to call emergency services if I'm feeling. It was a lot.
Oh no!
Oh my god!
Oh gosh! I mean, at least like your insides were like fresh,
Thankfully, it's one of these like cruelty-free vegan Castile soaps where it's like diluted and all natural ingredients. Had it been detergent, oh boy, this is.
I'm not sure if this is like it's not stressful, but it was like a little bit embarrassing. It was back in grade 10. We were doing Bye Bye Birdie, and at the end, the 2 leads they kiss. So like it was my first stage kiss, and we had done the blocking only a couple of times. And so as we were kissing, and the pause was going, the curtains were closing, And so I'm like kissing this other person and I'm trying to find the curtain so we can get off stage. And we totally missed the exit. So we're just standing there for like 2 extra seconds. And I'm just like, how do we get off stage? And so I just kind of like give him like a, I don't know, like a shoulder thing. And we just kind of like rush off. It was just so, those 2 seconds felt like an eternity. Cause I'm like, this is my first kiss and I don't know what's going on. And I don't want to be here anymore. Yeah, it was rough.
Oh my god! I've got a TSM go. Do you want the would you like a child one or a the show must go online one?
I mean, I'm down for both.
Sure.
I mean, do we have time? I mean, I could tell you my whole life story, which is just a marathon. All right, we go back to young Nat at the age of about 11. It was my primary school talent show, and I was like, I'm different, I'm weird, I'm I'm Nat. So I decided to do a teenage dirtbag. So I had my mum's like acoustic guitar, and little me waddles up to the stage, and it was like those blocks that you get, like in PE, or physical education, as we like to say, where there's like these blocks that you just kind of push together. That's what the teachers have kind of done to make a makeshift stage. And and like the song started, and I was just there like, her name is Noel, I have a dream, and like this is like 11-year-old me. And then obviously the chorus is coming up and everyone's like really expecting it. And I just kind of started like jumping up and down so hard on these blocks, and just kept on going absolutely crazy. And this guitar was like flying everywhere, and there was a girl playing a snare drum at the back, pretended she was the drummer. All of a sudden the stage parted and I fell right the way through. And my leg was in the air and the guitar was in the air, and I was just like, and then the year before that I did Tom Jones' Sex Bomb, so that's saying a lot about my childhood.
Go.
Strong choice.
So good with that.
But TSM Go style, it was got to be with the goats in as touchstone. Don't even get me started on those goats with Mabel the cat and Mabel the goat.
Yes.
The cry of pain that she gave as soon as I kind of picked her up, and I was like, "Hey, Audrey, you goats!" And then I kind of like held her, and she went. Honestly, the sound was just. I was just like, "Whoa, okay, I'm gonna put that down," and that's never been the same since.
Oh, that was joyful. For anyone who hasn't seen it, yes, we had cat goats,
including
which was a wonderful thing. A wonderful thing.
Not for the cats, apparently.
No,
but
not so much for the cats.
Something for your art, right?
Mabel's, she's not the same since. God bless her. No cats were harmed in the making of As You Like It. Anyway.
I have a quick TSMGO one that I just remembered that I don't think anyone actually knows this yet. But so at the end of Clueless, Alex and I decided that we wanted to, Cher always does that gum thing if you see it, or she pulls it out. And we decided that we wanted to do that in the very last frame. And so this is so gross, but I pre-chewed gum and put it in a cup, and we taped it to the back of the computer monitor. So when I went in for a stage kiss, I could grab it and shove it in my mouth, so I could magically have this gum for the last frame. And we practiced it a million times, and it was great and it worked, but we had never done it through the entirety of the show. So during the entirety of the show, the gum had gotten not pre-chewed enough, it was no longer gooey. And so then when I went to do it broke. And it popped and it went everywhere rather than doing the nice string thing. So I had little bits of gum in my hair and on my, it was clear and it was thin and it was fine. And had I had the familiarity that we all did now during the post-show talk back, I would have been I need a minute, everyone. But, you know, this was my first show with everyone, and I was so excited that these cool kids from across the pond had invited me to come sit at the Shakespeare lunch table. I was far too nervous, and so I sat there doing the whole show, like the whole talk back with like gum in my shirt and gum in my hair. And I was like, yeah, this is great, this is great. And then we get off the live stream, and my fiance comes in, and he's like, what? It's all over you. This is a little tiny. So, you know, that's
Oh my God.
You covered it beautifully.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, wonderfully soldiered. This is the problem as well with not having time to do full runs of everything. You don't get to practice this stuff, and you do it in the real time, and you kind of go, "Oh, that's a bit different."
Scene changes, costume changes, all that stuff happens for the first time while you're watching it. So it's like, if there isn't enough time.
So you mentioned that you have a Christmas Carol coming up next. You want to tell anyone a little about that? Plug that show, maybe?
Yeah, sure thing. Yeah. So we've got Ian Desher's treatment reimagining of A Christmas Carol on December 19th. It's going to be our first ever ticketed show. So tickets are pay what you can, minimum donation £5, recommended donation £15 if you can. And I think Eventbrite automatically converts currencies for people that are in other countries and things like that. It's 7 p.m. GMT, which I believe is 1 p.m.
2 EST.
2 EST. Wonderful. Yes. Thank you so much. It's going to be about a 90-minute show. It follows, obviously, the journey of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, but instead of the ghosts and the various characters being the Dickens characters, they're actually characters from Shakespeare kind of inhabiting those roles instead. So Christmas Past is actually...
Because there might be a bit of a game coming.
Oh,
see,
pump the brakes just in time. Yeah. Look at that. You'll have to join us to find out if we go some Christmas pasties. But yeah, so it's captured various Shakespeare characters from all across the canon. So you get to see kind of Shakespeare characters thrown together that aren't from the same plays and stuff like that. Ian's also really deftly used a lot of the kind of hallmark speeches from Shakespeare, but given them a lovely Christmassy twist and put them into the world of kind of Scrooge and his journey, and in a really clever way actually made them take on a totally new spin and a totally new meaning. In some cases, a quite kind of provocative meaning. And I think that's what's great about Christmas Carol as well, is that it's a story, well, it's a wonderful festive kind of celebratory energy, certainly at the end. It's also a horror, it's also a supernatural thriller. And it's also a really moral story with something real to say that feels immediate and relevant to the world that we're living in today, even all those years after it's been written. And, we say that about Shakespeare a lot of the time. You can say it about Dickens as well. So hopefully it's going to be a piece that's going to frighten you. It's a piece that's going to delight you. It's a piece that's going to be hilarious, moving, all at once. So, yeah, really looking forward to seeing it because, of course, I
was going to say, we should mention as well that this show is being directed by our wonderful Emily Ingram, who is our stage manager, master of props, associate director, all-round amazing person. So yeah, really, really excited for this, and we've got a bit more time to do it, which is as everyone here will know.
We might even get a dress rehearsal this time. That's what we're talking. It's luxury.
Mad.
Amazing, of course. And is there anything that anyone wants to tell the audience at home if they're like feeling stuck in like a quarantine rut, or they just don't know how to create right now in this? Do you have any advice for anyone at home?
Talk to people. Like, honestly, like I find being stuck horrible. And I think anyone in this industry, if they're stuck, then it's like, ugh. But I honestly, the one kind of thing that I've learned this year is just actually talking to people about how you feel. And communication is like one of the oldest art forms, and it should be like, oh, well, I should just open my mouth and words will come out. But you know, there's so much that can kind of like hold us back. So like whether it's pride or whether it's, you know, you think that anxiety's inside or your little demon in your head saying, no, you can't do. I mean, mine's called Josie. You know, that's a different story. I hope my drama teacher's not watching this. Yeah, just talk to people about your ideas, and then that makes you feel accountable to actually get things on the move.
That's really awesome. I was going to say, I would say as well, I think if you, likewise, if you've got an idea, do it. Give it a go. Like we started this as Rob explained. It was very much like, hey, anyone fancy doing a reading? And it just evolved into this. And we had no idea what it was going to be. We didn't know what would have been possible at the start. So I think if you've got an inkling, something that those creative juices are flowing in you, and you're like, I really fancy how I'm going to go at this, or I've got this idea, or I don't know if it will work. Just try it. Just go out, find some like-minded people, and give it a go, and have fun and play, and just keep active.
Yeah, I think as well, obviously I know and I get and I feel it myself that the restrictions that we are under for the benefit of everyone right now can be really tough to exist within. But all great art has been born out of restrictions. And even if you look at Shakespeare's verse is a restriction. Iambic pentameter is a restriction. It says you have 5 sets of alternating syllables. What can you do with that? And what can he do with that? Pretty much anything that he bloody well likes. So take inspiration from that. You know, what we did with this was go, okay, so Zoom is not a theatre. It is flat. It is 2-dimensional. It does have these limitations, but what can we do with it? And as soon as you start to look at it, instead of being a straitjacket, it being a sandbox, again, like Sarah said, to be able to play in, I think if you can find your sense of playfulness with whatever restrictions you have, there hopefully will be some way through that can at least give you a version of what you're looking for. And it might not be the ideal, but I think best is always the enemy of better. And perfect can be really toxic as a creative. Put something out there, let it be sloppy, let it be slapdash, rushed together, whatever. You know, I'm a writer, so I give myself permission for the first draft to be awful. You've got to let yourself do something bad before you can do something better. And so I'd say just playfulness, accept the limitations and see what you can do to bend and twist them, and play. And let it be rubbish. Give yourself permission to be rubbish, because I guarantee you it will come out better than you ever thought it would do.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to jump off what I really like that you mentioned the straitjacket, Rob, because I think there's a poet called Terence Hayes, and he said something like, being able to break dance is great, but being able to break dance in a straitjacket is is phenomenal. That's a paraphrase. I've butchered the quote altogether, but yeah, kind of. But just to add to that, also don't feel the pressure to have to create something. Don't kind of think, oh well, Shakespeare wrote King Lear during the plague, and so like, you know, where's my King Lear? Like, as you know, feel free to not feel the need to put things out, because if you are finding it difficult to kind of generate content or put things out, maybe you kind of need to sit, relax, and consume as well. We need to have fuel for our engines, and so any kind of consumption is great. Television, books, music. The show must go online. Also rest is part of your practice, and so let that rest kind of fuel you, because when you're resting, your subconscious will then do all the hard work for you, and then when you then get back to the draft, you'll find it's flowing.
Amazing, everybody! Oh my God! Oh, well, thank you all so much for coming on, for talking about everything, for talking about the show must go online, for plugging your next upcoming project. This was so much fun. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I really, really appreciate all of your time, and please feel free to reach out if you ever want to come on again.
Thank you so much, Jenny. But before we end, could I just ask you a question?
Me? Okay.
How was the pie?
It was so good. It was so good.
Excellent. I look forward to following the recipe.
Yay! You are the first people to do that, so thank you. Be my guest, of course. So thank you. Thank you all so much, really. I appreciate all of you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
it's
you.
a pleasure. Great to get with the gang too, man.
Well, oh my God, y'all. Okay. Thank you all so much. I'm going to stand a little bit out of the sun right now because the sun is, as you can see, a giant ray across my chest. So while I talk about these final couple of things, oh, now I'm going to have to just lean back on my table. All right. While I talk about what's coming up next, also we're going to roll the credits a little bit as that's happening. But as some of you know, I usually end the show with a monologue from Shakespeare. That being said, I'm so tired. I'm so tired, you guys. I wake up at 9 a.m. to do this show at 1 p.m. every single time. So I'm opening up the monologues to all of you. Please, 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 if you want to at all, submit a monologue to sourgrapesproductions.nyc@gmail.com. You'll see that come up again in the credits. Please just email yourself doing any monologue any way you want to for a chance to be at the end of our show. You can also plug your own shows, plug your social media, do whatever you want to do. I'm opening up to all of you. Also next week, as you've seen the little flashes on the bottom of the screen, woo, that pie was coming back up because I'm leaning backwards right now. For anyone who is going to be watching next week, we have Tim Mooney from Breakneck Hamlet. Tim Mooney does a ton of one-man shows, but this Breakneck Hamlet is a one-person full speed Hamlet, and it's going to be December 13th is going to be the interview and also his show after our show. So please watch next week to hear all about Tim and all of the amazing one-man shows he does that are all Shakespeare themed and all this great stuff. Also the little link that you're seeing scroll at the bottom our screen right here is the link tree of my personal link tree. It has a bunch of stuff in it, but we also are doing our Sour Grapes End of Year fundraiser right now. A big part of that is to pay our artists. Mooney, yes! But yeah, a big part of our fundraiser is to give our artists a nice little holiday bonus check, just to be nice because we like them. Yeah, we have to pay for like Zoom and StreamYard and all of that stuff, so we need some funds for that as well. Any little bit helps whatsoever, but also you don't have to if you don't want to. And again, please send me your monologue. Are we rolling credits? I'm just gonna keep punching things. That pie was so good, by the way. I never get to like taste things, even if I cook them in advance. I never get to like taste them before I do them. It's very rare that I taste the food that I make before I do it, on the show at least, because I always have these pun ideas, these silly, funny ideas of like something I want to make, and then guess what? I don't know if it's going to turn out good. As a lot of you saw last week, actually, I tried to make a layered colored cocktail for the painted maple cocktail, and I forgot to put ice in it, so nothing separated, so it turned into a Hot Topic cocktail at that point. It was still really pretty, and I put enough edible glitter in there that it worked out real good. Still tasted amazing. But yeah, again, thank you so much to the Show Must Go Online for being a part of this show. Thank you all at home for watching, because this show wouldn't be anything without any of you watching. And yeah, if you want to send a monologue to us, or if you want to be featured on a future bar brunch as an interviewee, please feel free to reach out. We are now booking through 2021, starting with February, because our January is pretty booked up at this point. And yeah, y'all, see you around.